I'm going to start by saying I don't hate Chris Brown. I listen to his music. I was a big fan when he first came out, and I still am musically. I did, however, fall off around the early 2010s because, me personally, I love underground artists, and that's where my music taste primarily resides. I came back around the time his X album dropped, which was actually the first album I listened to of his since his first album. But there's a reason for that, though. I wanted his album for Christmas, and my parents got it for me on bootleg. And I'm actually blaming my dad on that one. I then wanted his second album, but my mom accidentally got me his first album again, only this time it was the actual CD from the store. But I've been tuned in and have heard every album since, including his most recent. So that's where I am. I wanted to provide this context so A, you guys know where I stand, and B, that what I'm about to say is strictly observational and objective. I also want to talk about what we can learn from this. So let's get into it. If you guys don't know, Chris Brown recently called out the NBA for inviting him to play and then canceling on him, blaming their sponsors like Ruffles for saying they don't want to associate with him. Now, I think this is 100% wrong. You don't invite someone to do something for you and then cancel on them. That's 100% unprofessional. Now, this obviously sparked outrage from fans who called for a Ruffles boycott. And let me just say this right now. I'm a fan, but I'm not a part of this. I love baked Ruffles, and I'm going to eat my baked Ruffles, period. It also sparked dialogue from people like Tamika Mallory. And for those of you who don't understand or just didn't read to comprehend, she was basically asking how we feel as a community about the situation. Should people be allowed to have grace and move on from an incident they did when they were younger? Does it matter what the victim thinks? How can we learn from this? She was not making excuses for him despite what some people are saying. Now, Ruffles responded and basically said their name is Bennett and they ain't in it. I'm not sure how true the Ruffles thing is because Chris only posted the invite email. He didn't post where they canceled his appearance and the reasoning behind it. It's also important to note that something like this recently happened to him where a Michael Jackson tribute was canceled for no reason at all. Now I'm going to say my thoughts and what we can learn from it personally. First of all, I think this whole thing is unnecessary. I understand feeling hurt, and I think he has the right to, but at the same time, why? What is this going to accomplish? This is not going to be the first or the last company to do this. Ruffles is going to go on to make money. Businesses don't partner themselves with someone who they feel don't align with their core values, could tarnish their reputation, or has proven to be a liability. And unfortunately, Chris has proven he is a lot of times with his actions. Going back to what I mentioned earlier about becoming a fan musically again, I remember him not being the best to his girlfriend at the time, constantly getting in trouble, then not to mention his recent alleged incident with Usher. So this is not an isolated incident, it's multiple. So when it comes to Ruffles, it's not personal, it's business. This is just a consequence of his actions. What can we learn from this? Accountability. Chris did a good job accepting responsibility for this incident when it first happened. However, true accountability is not just acknowledging that you did something. It's truly accepting all of the consequences for it. What do I mean by that? Chris did a fantastic job in accepting the consequences legally, but he's having a bit of a problem with everything else. This is not true accountability. True accountability is taking every consequence, not just the legal ones. If people don't want to align themselves with you because of actions from your past, it's gonna hurt, but that's okay. You have to look at it like a first impression. It's difficult to change someone's first impression of you and for you to change your first impression of them. Or trust. Once it's gone, you'll never really get it back, regardless of how close you were. So, what can you do? You truly move on internally. Understand that you are not defined by an action and you align yourself with those who want to align themselves with you. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, but it is what it is. If you don't learn anything from Chris Brown, learn resilience. His willingness and determination to keep going is admirable. Everything happens for a reason, but you must keep going. It is evident that he is trying to change and grow. You can hear it in some of the songs, you can see it in his actions, and he just looks healthier overall. But I don't think the world can forgive him for 3 reasons. First off, is surface level. He's black. He's not an Eminem who can make a song about abusing someone, have it become a hit, and be praised for it. Let's not even talk about the Kim songs, like Poor Woman. Secondly, he did it to a beloved public figure. Everyone loves Rihanna. Finally, the world can't forgive him because he hasn't truly forgiven himself. You behave how you see yourself. If I see myself as a beautiful and confident woman, I'm going to exude that everywhere I go. If I see myself as a monster, that's how I'm going to behave. And it's clear that in the past, that's how he saw himself. He even said it. But now it seems that as he's trying to learn and grow, he is having trouble fully feeling like he is deserving of forgiveness. He has to stop viewing himself as that. We as people don't understand that it's not up to the world to forgive us. That's just that acceptance thing we all crave. If you're waiting for the world to allow you the chance to move on and forgive you, you're going to be waiting forever because there's always going to be somebody that's going to remind you that you did something. The person you hurt doesn't even have to forgive you, and that's their prerogative. That's God's job. But you also have to forgive yourself. That's the only way to truly move on. And once that happens, what the world thinks won't matter. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications. See you next video.